Hey guys, this is Dinosaur Drawer, and this is part 3 on how to draw the Jurassic Park Spinosaurus. So yeah, we're just trying to refine everything a little bit, and I'm gonna erase this whole part because this is not what it was supposed to look like. Because actually it was supposed to look like kind of a pattern like this. And then you have a couple of those darker scales going on top of that. And a couple of scales in between them. And we could just draw a couple more lines coming from over there. And this makes it look a lot more 3D than it already did. A little bit of shadow over there. And let's also erase this part a little bit, because this is also completely wrong. I could have just done it extremely easy, but I had to do it the hard way. So the way this actually works is you just put, excuse me, that's my dog. You just put a couple of dark lines like these in here everywhere, and then once it gets in the light, it kind of gets a lot smaller. So yeah, I'm sorry if you're doing a draw along. I won't actually recommend for you guys to draw alongs with my videos, because I do erase a lot, and I also do erase a lot in between parts. And then we have a couple of dark scales, but only at the top part of this. Alright, so in my opinion it looks 10 times better already. But I don't know about you guys. You're probably mad because you have to erase everything that you just did, because I erased everything and you want it to be as accurate as my drawing. Well, not as accurate as my drawing, but as accurate to my drawing as you can. And these will have to be very dark lines, by the way, over here. Alright, so this looks a tiny bit better in my opinion. So just keep on doing a couple of those strange rounded scales. And now let's go to his arms, which I do like a lot. My hands and stuff and feet normally, not in this particular drawing, but normally my hands and feet are kind of improving compared to the way that I used to draw them. So there is a muscle structure over here, and then just a couple of lines like that. And then just kind of draw in a bit of shadow. And also dark spot over there. A couple of wrinkles there. And texture like that. Alright, so there's a little bit shadow between the fingers in, because there's a little bit of a skin flap over here. So I'm not going to darken in those hands too much, but what I do want to do is give it kind of these scales. Which will make it look darker anyways. I'm going to do the same thing over here, but I'm not going to put too much of shadow on it yet, because I don't want it to be as dark as this hand. So let's see if I can erase it just a tiny little bit so you can still see the form of his hand. Alright, that should be fine for now. So now we have arrived at his legs, and his legs they might be a bit tricky for some people. They used to be very tricky for me, and still sometimes I draw them wrong. Alright, so there's a line over there. It's just basically drawing a lot of lines actually, but you do have to know which direction your lines are going to go to. And what parts of your leg need to be darker, and what parts of your leg don't need to be darkened too much. For example, the lines that I'm drawing right now do have some direction into them, which will give it kind of a more three-dimensional look. So I'm not going to go too much into this part anymore. I do want this to kind of extend into a bigger area, so you can kind of see a lot more muscles and stuff. Right, this muscle again looks kind of silly because the shadow isn't supposed to come from over there. It's just supposed to go like this. And we can just create a couple of lines over there. Then we have one big muscle over here, and this line of shadow goes all the way on until we are at his heel. And again, I can't seem to get this right. I just wanted to kind of look good, but it kind of doesn't. So this is why I told you guys that the legs can kind of be tricky. And also a little shadow over there. And that was the moment where I overdid the shadow a little bit too much. I mean, I could make it as dark as it was right there, but I don't have such dark tones in my drawing yet, and if I would make a drawing that would be a little bit longer, then I would probably have a lot of those darker tones in my drawing, but I don't want this drawing to be over 3 parts long, so I don't want well, it would take me a lot of time to actually do that kind of tone into this drawing. It would mean that there would be a lot more detail in the drawing, which would be very good if I could just compress everything down into like 30 minutes, but I can't. It's just that I'm not that good yet. I'm trying to get better, I'm trying to get quicker for you guys, because I don't really have a lot of stuff to edit videos. The only thing that I have is my mobile phone, and I don't really have the money to buy a computer or yeah, to actually get a better phone for better editing and stuff. So that's kind of a shame, kind of. But eventually my videos will get better. It's just that there are a lot of drawers out there that can really push the limit to get a lot of detail into a drawing and put the minimum amount of time into the drawing, and that's just something that I can't do. At least I can do it, but the quality of the drawing and everything will just be a lot more well, it wouldn't be a tutorial anymore, let's refer to it as that. It would just be so ugly that that's not something that I can call a tutorial. And I'm just really trying to be helpful for the really beginning drawers, the people that are really just starting out with drawing dinosaurs and stuff, especially kids that want to draw their favorite dinosaur. That's where I kind of hope to be useful. So I'm just putting these lines into his tail to kind of create a extra bit of shadow and detail. All right. And I'm gonna draw a couple of those crocodilian kind of lines on his tail as well. We might be able to use this later on to put a couple of scales in again. So I want to have a lot more going on over here because it just looks too blank to me. And maybe a little bit of shadow for his hip, just a tiny bit over there. That should be enough. Alright, and maybe a couple of more structural lines over there. And I'm going into this foot later on, don't worry. Now we could actually get a couple of those very dark scales in at some places. I'm just trying to put it at a more, I'm trying to make the tail more detailed and a little darker. So yeah, if you want me to redo a couple of my videos from 2017, feel free to ask. If you want me to draw anything, actually feel free to ask, because I do have a list, and I think I'm at about 30 people that actually want me to draw their requests, and I'm gonna do them. I don't have that list for nothing, so I'm gonna draw those requests, but it's just when I have an idea of what I want to draw, I kind of want to draw that first before I'm going into the requests, because I need to stay kind of motivated to draw, and if I always draw only the requests for you guys, that will mean that my motivation of drawing will kind of fade away a little bit, and that way I will maybe stop drawing for a couple of weeks again, just because of a lot of stuff going on, situation that I'm in with my mom at the moment, and a lot of different kind of stuff that really ask a lot of me lately. Well, not lately, well, yeah, lately, but for the past 2 months. So yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna do your requests, but it might just take a little longer, not a lot, but just a tiny little bit, to yeah, to draw your requests. So yeah, if you have a request, if you really want to draw a certain dinosaur or prehistoric animal of any kind, feel free to ask. I'll put it on the list, and maybe if I feel like it, I mean, I'm not doing it at a certain order. Let's first just pay a little bit more attention to this part, because I'm gonna darken some spots in a little bit. So yeah, I'm not doing those requests at a certain order. I'm just picking them out, and the ones that I like the most at the moment, those are the ones that I'm gonna draw. So that way, because I already have like 30 requests of people that want me to draw something, that way you won't have to wait too long for your request to actually be drawn, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just going everywhere right now, so I can get the right shade into everything, and the right tone. Trying to actually finish up off the rest of the drawing. But first, we need to go into this foot over here. We don't really have a lot of detail that we can really see, so I'm just gonna draw a couple of those lines again. This will create kind of a dark look, and it will still kind of look like there's detail in there, which is what we want, of course. And then over here as well. But I wanna put in, and by the way, his feet are a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna erase it just a little bit, because I don't have those dark tones in the drawing, and it will kind of look a little bit strange otherwise. Alright. And then just a couple of lines between the toes. Make it just a tiny little bit darker. And this is actually what happens when you erase too many times. The drawing it looks kind of blurred at the spots that you erase too many times, and that's really a shame actually, because it could have been so much better. I just shouldn't have erased that part at the first place. That's just a fact that I now have to deal with. So it really just was a big mistake. Sometimes you have those moments, but that's why we have to learn from our mistakes, right? So what I could do to kind of counter that a little bit is make this feet a little darker as well. but it's not gonna make a lot of difference for right now. So the only thing that we still kind of need to do is he has kind of a pattern on his spine that we could draw in, but we do have to pay attention to where there is shadow and where there isn't a lot of shadow. Otherwise it will just kind of look strange and out of place. So we do have to pay attention to that. And I didn't finish off this part, by the way. Alright. And maybe I could make it a little bit darker at some places between the actual spines. Because there's a lot of shadow on the top of them. Alright, so that should be fine for now. So the pattern kind of goes like this. One over here, one over here, one over there, one over there, and then one over there again. So pay attention to the way that you're going to draw this in. Alright, I want those patterns to be clearly visible, so I'm making them quite dark. And quite thick. And then just keep on creating those things. And for example, there isn't a lot of shadow at this part, so I don't have to create a lot of shadow at that part. I can just very lightly draw it in, and it will make it look like it is still just as dark. And then two, maybe even one, just one over here. No, I'll just put something like this over there. Alright, what we could do is just get a couple of them over here, but not as detailed and not as large, just kind of an indication to a little bit more detail over there. Alright, so I guess that makes us about done. So yeah, I'm really sorry that this drawing took me 3 parts to make, but I'm not, well, I guess just it turns out pretty great, pretty good, but not as great as I would liked it to have. Because I think that in the time that I drew this, I could have made something a lot better. But I mean, it's not bad. I think it's just that I could have done better, in my opinion. But yeah, let's just get my autograph. the dinosaur. Alright. So I guess we're done. Alright, so yeah, again, don't get me wrong, I don't think the drawing is bad or anything. Just like I said, I could have done something a little bit better. For example, I don't like how how his foot turned out, and his head is a little bit too dark. But I think it's a pretty good drawing overall. So yeah, again, if you liked the video, leave a like, comment below what you think about the video, and don't forget to subscribe. So this was Dinosaur Drawer, and goodbye.